Well, it seems like America has had enough of immigrants for a long while, actually. They feel like it's destabilizing their society. It's creating uh, problems with social cohesion. They don't like the look of their countries because they feel like they're being replaced. And I don't know. I don't agree with them saying that uh, whites are being replaced because that's your own issue. You created that problem. You're not having children. You're not having babies. Your system is failing you. Your system is not incentivizing child rearing. Your system is incentivizing oligarchy. It's incentivizing um, enrichment of corporations. Even there's this silly law where a corporation is considered a person, and that's ridiculous. How can a $500 billion corporation be classified as a person in terms of I don't know. It's a very silly law. When I read it, I couldn't believe it. I don't know if any other country has that, but that in itself gives rights, more rights to corporations than poor people. So how do you expect to have kids when you cannot afford to have kids? When you are struggling to feed yourself in the richest country in the world and end up you don't even want to have one kid, let alone two or three, which is the replacement rate. So the American system is failing its own people, and then they are turning their R to immigrants. And the normies don't understand that immigrants are coming into America at the behest of their own government. A lot of it is ideological, a lot of it is economic because corporations want cheap labor. So they promote those H-1B visas because they know that the immigrants are going to work harder than the Native Americans and they're going to work for even less. So, what is happening is that they are now spinning it to make it like the country is being invaded. No, no one invaded your country. No one would come to a country if there's no invasion. It's just the government, the system incentivizing immigrants to come to America. And sometimes they're even incentivizing those immigrants in a roundabout way. For instance, right now, America is preparing to for regime change in Venezuela. That's been done before. It's been tried with Vietnam. It's been tried with Iraq. It's been tried with Iran. It's been tried with Syria. It's been tried with Afghanistan. And what has it got you? More immigrants. The government destabilizes these countries under the guise of promoting democracy and all these things, when actually all they want is the country's resources. They just want whatever that country is providing that is uh, strategically important geopolitically, and just the resources of the country. In Iraq, they wanted the oil, and they also had a strategic agreement with Israel to destabilize Iraq because Iraq was a threat to Israel. In Afghanistan, it was roughly the same thing because Afghanistan was linked to terror cells, and everyone in the Muslim world apparently does not like Israel. So, geopolitically, it was deemed necessary to eliminate that regime. Well, we all know how that turned out. There are so many permutations that you don't put into place when you just use the hammer. You don't consider them. You don't consider the ramifications of your actions. What is going to happen 5 years later when the country has been destabilized? You eliminate the government, you fracture the country. You create rivaling factions which destabilize the country and create chaos, and ultimately creates mass evacuation from the country in the form of refugees. This is why you're seeing Europe fighting against refugees, because all these things have been caused by the decisions of the American government, primarily, which uh, who likes to just use the hammer instead of diplomacy. They feel like diplomacy is too slow. They feel like diplomacy doesn't work. And then they want to use the firepower that they possess, which unfortunately is fueled by a military industrial complex which is corrupt, which has been which has been made a power unto its own, and which controls so many arms in the government, in the Congress, that it's it's subverting the original definition of democracy. Now, in Batman, there was this guy Harvey Dent who turned evil. He was a prosecutor and the good guy, and then he became the villain. And there was this saying that says, "You you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain." And what we are seeing right now with the invasion of Venezuela, the threats of annexation of Canada, the threats of annexation of Greenland, the smash mouth politics around the world, the threat of destabilization of the EU, the just rampant bullying by uh, the US administration. We are seeing a once possibly benevolent government turning heel. So, what that causes is unfortunately their own downfall. Because I feel like if this path is not uh, turned in some way, if the US does not get away from this path, they will destabilize themselves, because people will see behind the curtain. Because what has kept people, the normies, from seeing behind the curtain is there's been a veil that prevents people from seeing the actual machinations of government, the actual purpose of government foreign policy. People think, oh, we went to Iraq because we were attacked during 9/11, so we had to retaliate. But now with internet, with podcasts, with different views coming into full flesh, they people can understand now that there was more to the story than that, you know, because it doesn't make sense. No, it never made sense to me that why would people just fly planes into into buildings, killing innocent people? What has to have gone wrong? Is it just crazed individuals, or they have an there has to be something else. You can't just take people. Some of them were actual doctors who were planning these attacks, and of course, it was atrocious. It was terrible. It was something that you cannot excuse. But what is the reasoning? If you dig deep, you will find that it comes back to the decisions of the American government, which affected other countries to such an extent that they had to fight back. And fighting back, if you don't have aircraft carriers and you don't have big missiles and geopolitical, just a huge army, it means that you have to use what was used in 9/11, which is definite terrorism. But this is what was brought on by US decisions, you see. Because this happens in many countries, even in apartheid South Africa. The resistance ended up using terrorist methods to fight against the government, and they were classified as terrorists. Remember, because they don't have the army. So what are they going to use? They're going to use blunt instruments, and then this is what happens. So unfortunately, this is what happens with. This is what's going to happen with the Venezuela. You terrorizing people by using your vast army. And what's going to happen a couple of years down the line? Don't be surprised when someone slips through the southern border and tries to get revenge for what the government is doing today. It's it's unfortunate that his history keeps repeating itself, but I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. I just hope Trump is bluffing and he does not cause this destabilization of a country, which will come back to bite the U.S.